If you feel like you're doing everything right, eating fairly healthy, staying active, but you still feel weaker than you used to, this might be the missing piece. It's not motivation. It's not age catching up to you overnight. And it's probably not that your metabolism is broken. For many women over 30, the real issue is that they are not getting enough consistent protein to support muscle, strength, and stable energy. And here's the part that surprises most people. It's usually not because they don't care about protein. It's because no one ever showed them how to build it into their day in a simple, sustainable way. Today I'm going to walk you through the simplest protein routine for women over 30. No calorie tracking, no macro counting, no extreme meal plans. Just a practical structure that supports muscle preservation and steady energy. Because after 30, muscle matters more than most people realize. Muscle isn't just about looking toned. It protects metabolism. It supports blood sugar stability. It helps maintain strength and bone density. And it plays a major role in long-term energy. Starting in our 30s, women naturally begin to lose small amounts of muscle each year if it isn't supported. This process is gradual, which is why it's easy to ignore at first. But over time, it can show up as feeling weaker during workouts, feeling softer even at the same weight, lower daily energy, and slower metabolism. The good news is that this process is not inevitable. Muscle is highly responsive to two things: resistance training and adequate protein. And while we'll talk more about strength training this month, today we're focusing on protein, because without it, muscle cannot be maintained. Here's where most women unintentionally fall short. They might eat a light breakfast with very little protein, a small lunch that's mostly carbohydrates, then a larger dinner with protein. This creates an uneven distribution across the day. What matters more than just total protein is consistency. Your body uses protein more effectively when it's spread throughout the day rather than consumed mostly in one meal. So instead of thinking, how much protein should I eat total? Think, how can I include protein in every meal? This is where the simplest protein routine comes in. The goal is not perfection. The goal is structure. Here is the routine. First, anchor your breakfast with protein. Not just coffee. Not just toast. Not just fruit. Examples could include eggs with vegetables, Greek yogurt with nuts and berries, protein blended into a smoothie, cottage cheese with fruit. Even adding a solid protein source to a simple meal makes a big difference. Second, build lunch around protein instead of adding it as an afterthought. Instead of salad with mostly vegetables, think chicken, salmon, tofu, beans, or another protein source as the foundation, with vegetables and carbohydrates added around it. Protein should be the base of the meal, not the garnish. Third, include protein at dinner, but avoid relying on dinner as your only substantial protein meal of the day. When protein is distributed across breakfast, lunch, and dinner, muscle protein synthesis, which is simply the process of maintaining and rebuilding muscle, is supported more effectively. Now let's pause for a moment. If this sounds overwhelming, it's not meant to be. You don't need to weigh food. You don't need to count grams. You don't need to hit a perfect number every day. You simply need consistency. A practical visual guideline that works well for many women is a palm-sized portion of protein at each main meal. That simple rule often dramatically improves total intake without tracking. And if your goal is muscle preservation or strength improvement, consistency matters more than occasional high-protein days. Another important factor is appetite. Many women over 30 notice that their appetite feels unpredictable. Protein actually helps regulate appetite by increasing satiety and stabilizing blood sugar. When meals are protein balanced, energy tends to feel steadier and cravings often decrease. This is why protein is not just about muscle. It is about stability. Stability in energy. Stability in hunger. Stability in body composition over time. And this doesn't require dramatic diet changes. It requires awareness and gentle structure. If you currently skip breakfast or eat very lightly in the morning, that is often the easiest place to start. Add protein to the meal you already eat. If lunch tends to be rushed or small, build in a reliable protein option that doesn't require much thought. Routine removes decision fatigue. And decision fatigue is one of the quiet reasons nutrition habits fall apart. A simple protein routine reduces that mental load. It gives your body predictable nourishment. And after 30, predictability is powerful. Because the body becomes less tolerant of extremes. It thrives on steady support. Over the next few weeks, we'll build on this foundation. We'll talk about why strength can feel harder after 30 and how to reverse that trend without burnout. And we'll outline a practical weekly strength structure that supports muscle without overwhelming your schedule. But today, start with this: protein at every meal. Spread consistently across the day. No tracking required. Muscle preservation is not about intensity. It is about small, repeatable habits that compound over time. And this is one of the most important ones. Because strength in your 30s and 40s is not accidental. It is built, gently, consistently, and intentionally.